What if I told you that the last number of your birth year isn't just a digit, but a key that reveals your spiritual destiny? In the ancient wisdom of Buddhism, nothing is random. Every number, every moment, and every soul has a deeper purpose. Today you're invited to uncover the hidden meaning behind the final digit of your birth year. Does it represent your mission, your karmic energy, a secret guide from the universe? Get ready for a revelation that might change the way you see your spiritual path. This is no coincidence, it's a sign that you're ready to awaken. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish this journey, you'll look back with new eyes, and maybe for the first time, you'll truly understand who you are and why you're here. In our daily lives, numbers often seem like cold, neutral, functional tools. We count days, measure time, calculate distances, organize dates. But what if I told you that for many ancient cultures, especially within Buddhism, numbers are far more than digits? In Buddhist thought, each number vibrates. Each one is an energetic manifestation, a living symbol that reveals part of our deepest nature. And among all those numbers, there's one that has been with you since the very first second of your existence. One you didn't choose with your conscious mind, but your soul did, long before you were born. That number is the final digit of your birth year, and it's always been there. To Buddhist monks, that last digit acts as a kind of karmic seal, a key that speaks of your natural talents, of the wounds you came to heal, of the lessons your soul chose to experience even before it had a body. This is not divination, it's not superstition, it's a symbolic way of looking at life from a spiritual, more connected perspective, one aligned with Dharma, with the laws of the universe. Because some things simply can't be explained with logic alone. Why do certain situations repeat over and over? Why do you instantly connect with some people, but not with others? Why do some experiences feel as though you've lived them before? The answer might be hiding in plain sight, in that number that appears on every one of your documents, the number that marked the beginning of your physical life, and that reveals the spiritual path your soul chose to walk. Today we enter this ancient wisdom not to box you in, not to limit you, but to bring you clarity. Because when you understand the energy that has been with you since birth, you begin to see your life through a different lens, and you realize that your life has never been an accident. It has always been a map, and that number is one of its earliest coordinates. You may not remember it, but there was a moment, long before this body existed, when your soul chose to come into this life. It chose to be born in a specific year, in a specific country, under specific circumstances, and with that choice it also selected a final number that would accompany it throughout this human experience. It wasn't random, it was a decision with purpose, because every soul, before incarnating, chooses a main lesson, an energy it wants to embody, a challenge it needs to experience in order to evolve. That final digit of your birth year isn't just a mark on a calendar, it's an energetic reflection of what you came to work through, to give, to transform. It's like a lantern that illuminates parts of you that perhaps you haven't yet been able to name. Your way of feeling and your way of loving and the way you face loss, change, beginnings and endings. That's why knowing it is so powerful, because when you understand that energy, everything starts to make sense. You no longer see your patterns as failures, but as messages. You no longer punish yourself for your intense emotions, your falls or your impulses. You begin to recognize that something greater has always been guiding you, a kind of hidden wisdom that has been with you from the start. This number can help you understand why some paths open with ease, while others seem to close no matter how hard you try, why you have certain natural strengths, and why you wrestle with shadows that keep returning, no matter how much you try to leave them behind. But beyond all of that, this number also reminds you of something essential. You are not broken, you are not lost, you are not late. You are exactly where your soul needs to be in order to evolve. So today, more than learning about a number, you're going to reunite with a forgotten part of yourself, a part that has been waiting, quietly, to be recognized. And when you do, you won't just understand yourself better, you'll begin to understand others more deeply too, because every soul, just like yours, came here with a purpose. And that purpose is encoded in a simple number, a number that changes everything. Number 0, the sacred cycle of transformation. If the last digit of your birth year is 0, your soul is deeply marked by the cycle of transformation. In Buddhist thought, the number 0 does not represent nothingness, as many believe. Quite the opposite. 0 is everything and nothing at once. It is the fertile void, the sacred space from which all things are born, and to which all things return. You did not come into this life to follow a straight line. You came to be reborn many times within a single lifetime. And if you think about it, your story is probably filled with endings that became new beginnings. Moving cities, changing careers, partners, ways of thinking, lifestyles. To others it may seem like instability, but to you it's growth and it's evolution, and it's your soul saying, "This no longer serves me, I'm ready for the next version of myself." People with this vibration often feel like they're always starting over. You build, you break, you rebuild. You get excited, you fall, you try again. And yes, that can be exhausting, but it's also part of your strength, your ability to reinvent yourself again and again. Your greatest gift is knowing how to find peace in the midst of chaos. Where others see ruins, you see possibilities. Where others are paralyzed by loss, you see a portal for something new to begin. You are resilient. And though the world may not always notice, you've had to rebuild yourself more times than you'll ever admit. But there is something you must remember. Living in constant transformation doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're moving at the rhythm of your soul. And that rhythm, even when it confuses you, is always perfect. The challenge, however, is learning to trust. At times it may seem like everyone around you has stable, defined, normal lives, and you're still exploring, changing, letting go. But that's not weakness, that's courage. The courage not to settle for what doesn't make you vibrate, to release what no longer feels true. And there's more. Those born with the number 0 also carry immense potential. The potential to create something completely new, something that never existed before. Unusual dreams, revolutionary ideas, ways of living that others don't even dare to imagine. Your existence is a living invitation to break formulas, to show that the end of a cycle is not a tragedy. It's simply the beginning of a new version of you. And if today you find yourself in a time of transition, unsure of where you're going, remember this. You are not lost, you are transforming. And that for a soul marked by the 0 is exactly the right path. Number 1, the path of the leader who opens doors. If the last digit of your birth year is 1, you were born with an energy that opens paths. Your soul came to break inertia, to lead, to ignite the fire of beginnings where there was once nothing. You are the starting point, the impulse, the spark. And although you may not always see it that way, the truth is that since youth you've carried an inner strength that's moved you forward even when the road was unclear. Sometimes you didn't know where you were headed, but your body knew. You felt it in your chest, the sense of urgency whispering, keep going, move forward, create something new. People with this vibration have a natural courage. While others hesitate, you take the first step. While others wait for a sign, you choose to be the sign. And though this has made you stand out, it's also brought moments of loneliness, because being a pioneer isn't easy. Not everyone understands your speed, your intensity, your way of seeing the world. Maybe you've been labelled bossy, impulsive, or controlling. But what few realize is that behind that determination lies a deep need to move forward, to build something meaningful, something that leaves a mark. Your soul didn't come to follow safe paths, it came to create its own. Sometimes that means going against the current. Sometimes it means starting from scratch while others are comfortable. And that requires a kind of bravery few can grasp. But be careful. Number 1 can fall into the trap of wanting to do it all alone, of thinking only you can, that only you know. And on that path you may end up carrying more than your share, isolating yourself and demanding too much from yourself. True leadership, and this is key, isn't about control. It's about inspiration, about trusting others and about building bridges, not walls. Because you didn't come to carry everything alone. You came to show the way and invite others to walk with you. Another beautiful aspect of this vibration. You're not afraid of change. If something no longer works, you leave it. If you need to start again, you do. And in a world so afraid of endings, that makes you a light, a reference point of movement, of courage, of renewal. But also remember, you don't have to prove your worth all the time, and you don't have to be right every time. And it's okay if today you pause to breathe. Even fire needs oxygen, and if you were born with the number 1, accept your calling. You came to be a lighthouse, not a reflection, to lead from the soul, not from the ego. And when you honor that authentic leadership, something lights up in the world, and many, without even knowing it, start to move because of you. Number 4, the builder of the soul. If the last digit of your birth year is 4, then you came into this world with a very clear mission: to shape, to sustain, and to build. Your soul chose to be a foundation, a cornerstone, the quiet strength that organizes chaos, that brings structure where others see only confusion. From a very young age, you may have felt that you had to be strong, even when you didn't know how. Perhaps you were the responsible one, the one others turned to when things fell apart, the one who took charge, who kept everything standing. And yes, that made you mature before your time, but it also made you carry more than you needed to. Because even though others see you as a pillar, you get tired too, you feel too. You also need someone to hold you. The energy of the 4 gives you a practical, logical mind, focused on results. You like stability. It gives you peace to know where you stand, to have a plan, to follow a process. And that is not weakness, that is soul wisdom. In a world that rushes without direction, you represent the value of consistency, of things well done, of what endures. But the challenge is not to confuse firmness with rigidity, because sometimes, out of fear of disorder, you close yourself off to change. You cling to structures that no longer nourish you. You stay in relationships, jobs, routines, just because that's how it's supposed to be. And that limits you. It locks you in. It makes you forget that to build something new, sometimes you have to tear down the old. Another great lesson of your energy is allowing yourself to feel, because although you appear resolved, balanced, self-sufficient, inside there's a sensitivity few people know. A part of you that doesn't allow itself to break, that doesn't allow itself to cry. But the truth is, even the strongest foundations need maintenance, and self-care is also part of your mission. The beauty of the number 4 is that it does not give up. You can stumble 10 times and rise 11. You can go through loss, heartbreak, storms, and still keep going, building, organizing, supporting. That consistency is gold. But it needs to be accompanied by lightness, faith, and room for improvisation. Because life isn't just about planning. It's also about letting go of control and trusting. If you carry the number 4, you came to be an architect of realities, to create structures where other souls can grow, including your own. And remember, you didn't come just to raise walls. You came to build bridges to the possible. Number 5, the spirit that cannot be caged. If the last digit of your birth year is 5, your soul came into the world with a powerful, untamed vibration, that of change, freedom, and constant evolution. You are movement, you are wind, you are expansion. Since childhood, you may have felt the world was too small for you, that the rules didn't fit, that routine suffocated you. While others settled in, you were searching for something more, something new, something different, something that made you feel alive. The energy of the 5 is rebellious, but not out of whim. It's rebellious because your soul remembers it came to explore, not to conform. And that shows in everything. Your relationships, your decisions, the way you live your day-to-day. You are made of experiences. You learn by doing, you learn by failing, you learn by leaping into the unknown. And though that may seem risky to others, you know that without movement you fade. You've changed paths many times, ideas, places, people. And yes, that can confuse you. It can make you feel like you never finish anything, like you're always beginning again. But what few understand is that your learning is not linear. It's circular, spiral, free. You need space to breathe. You need variety to bloom. The great challenge of the number 5 is not finding freedom. It's learning to sustain it without losing yourself. Because sometimes you run without noticing. You jump from project to project, emotion to emotion, just to avoid silence, commitment, grounding. And that is where your lesson lies. And not everything that supports you is a cage. Some bonds, some routines, some conscious choices can be temples of expansion, not prisons. Your soul must learn to choose from clarity, not from impulse, to stay when something is worth it, to go deeper without losing your inner movement. Because when you find that balance, you are unstoppable. Your creativity intensifies, and your magnetism becomes real. Your path, though different, becomes inspiring. And the world needs that. It needs souls like yours that dare, that question, that transform. You have an open mind, a restless heart, a traveler's soul, and that is a gift. But remember, the greatest journey you will ever take is not outward, but inward. It's not just about exploring the world, it's about exploring your emotions, your beliefs, your wounds, your light. If you carry the number 5, you came to break molds, but also to create a new mold where you can fit fully. And when you do that, your life is no longer an escape, it becomes a dance with the universe. And number 6, the heart that heals in silence. If the last digit of your birth year is 6, then your soul chose a path as loving as it is challenging, to care, to hold, to heal. Within you lies the energy of home, the embrace that asks for nothing in return, the gaze that understands everything, even unspoken pain. From a young age, you may have felt the need to take care of others. Maybe you looked after siblings, supported your parents through hard times, or were the emotional anchor for your friends or partners. And you did it without being asked, because it's in your soul. The number 6 is pure compassion. But when that compassion is out of balance, it becomes a burden. You've loved so deeply that you've forgotten yourself. You've given so much that deep down you've sometimes felt empty. And though others see you as strong, always available, always kind, very few ask, "And how are you?" People with this vibration have a beautiful mission: to create safe spaces, places where others can rest, open up and feel seen. And you do it effortlessly, with a cup of tea, with a gentle word, with your simple presence. But your greatest challenge is not in caring for others, it's in learning to include yourself in that care. Because you too have limits. You too need rest. You too deserve to receive what you give. The 6 has a deep connection to the concept of family, and that may manifest in 2 ways. Either you are the heart of the home you always dreamed of, or you've come to heal a deep family wound. In both cases, the key lies in redefining love. Understand that to love is not to sacrifice yourself, that to care is not to control, that to give does not mean to disappear. Within you lies immense healing power. You can transform sadness into tenderness. You can soften any space. You have the gift of seeing beauty where others only see failure. But the world does not need martyrs, it needs whole people, sensitive, strong, and aware of their worth. So if this is your number, start with you. Give yourself permission to rest, to set boundaries, to say no, to prioritize yourself. Because when you are well, everything you touch begins to bloom. Your mission is to love, but remember, the first love you must protect is your own. And when you find that balance, your energy becomes so powerful, so radiant, that your mere presence begins to heal others. Number 7, the seeker of inner truth. If the last digit of your birth year is 7, your soul did not come to live on the surface. It came to seek meaning, to question, to go deep. You carry within you a thirst that cannot be quenched by the superficial, a constant need to understand the why of everything, especially the why of yourself. The number 7 is the vibration of introspection, wisdom, and the spiritual path. From an early age, you may have felt you didn't think like everyone else. While others looked outward, you wanted to look inward. While they talked about what they feared, you reflected on what you felt, and sometimes that made you feel different, perhaps misunderstood, perhaps out of place, but that difference is your gift, because you see what others don't. Your mind is deep, reflective, capable of spotting hidden patterns and truths that lie beyond appearances, and that connects you with something very special, authentic spirituality. You may not follow a traditional religion, but you know there is something more. You feel it in dreams, in signs, in synchronicities, and when you connect with that invisible realm, everything starts to make sense. It's as if your soul says, "This, I already know this." However, the path of the 7 can also lead to isolation. Sometimes you crave so much silence, solitude, and personal space that you end up distancing yourself from others. And while this feeds your mind, it can leave your heart feeling a little alone. Your greatest lesson is to find balance between contemplation and connection, because you also came to share what you discover, to teach, to guide, to translate the invisible into healing words. People often come to you for advice. They see you as wise, reliable, calm. But you know that many times you are in pieces inside, that your questions don't always have answers, that your silence sometimes hurts, and that's okay because your soul did not come to have all the answers. It came to learn to live with the questions, and in that process to guide others with humility, with truth, with presence. You also carry a deep thirst for knowledge. Reading, studying, observing, meditating, all of it feeds your inner fire. And when you bring it into action, when you teach, write, support others, you fulfill one of your most beautiful purposes, to shine your light of wisdom. If you were born with the number 7, remember, you are not alone. There are others like you, in different corners of the world, searching with the same intensity. And when you choose to open up, to share, to come down from the mountain, something magical happens. Your wisdom is no longer yours alone. It becomes medicine for the world. Number 8, the builder of purpose and inner power. If the last digit of your birth year is 8, then your soul chose to embody one of the most powerful energies of the cycle, the energy of accomplishment and the balance between the earthly and the spiritual. You came into this world with a special strength, a rare combination of practical vision, leadership ability, and an inner connection to something much greater than yourself. The number 8 is the bridge between two worlds, the physical world, where results are created, where concrete things are built, and the spiritual world, where the deepest purposes of the soul connect. That's why, from a young age, you may have felt an intense need to achieve things, to move forward, to leave a mark. Maybe you were the one who demanded the most from yourself, always seeking to grow, achieve, and accomplish. And yes, that ambition is not vanity, it's a calling, an urge from the soul telling you came to build something great. But here comes the great challenge of number 8, not losing yourself in the external, because when your energy aligns with your soul, you can attract abundance, success, recognition without disconnecting from your essence. But when that energy becomes unbalanced, you can end up trapped in a spiral of perfectionism and exhaustion. Has this happened to you? Working so hard and feeling empty, achieving what you wanted and wondering why it doesn't fulfill you, giving more than you should and forgetting about yourself. That is the sign that you're focusing only on the form and forgetting the substance, because the true power of number 8 is not in what you achieve, but in how and why you achieve it. You have a natural talent to lead, organize, and solve. You see opportunities where others see problems, and you can turn an idea into a project, and a project into a real impact. But your mission is not just to be successful, it is to lead with soul, to inspire, to uplift, to build structures, companies, ideas, communities, paths that benefit many without leaving yourself behind. It's also likely you had to mature early, carry heavy responsibilities, prove your worth, and that made you strong. But it also taught you that control isn't everything. Sometimes you need to let go, trust, delegate, and allow the universe to work with you. Because when you align your personal power with your deepest purpose, you become invincible, not from arrogance, but from coherence, from the peace of knowing you are exactly where you need to be, doing what you came to do. If you were born with the number 8, you came to manifest the invisible, to show the world that success is not at odds with the soul, and that true leadership is not about commanding, but transforming. Number 9, the closure of cycles and the wisdom that heals. If the last digit of your birth year is 9, then you are marked by a high vibration, compassionate and deeply transformative. You came into this world with the energy of closing cycles, the wisdom of an old soul, and the ability to heal through example. Number 9 represents the end of a journey, the conclusion of lessons that began long before this life. And because of this, those born with this vibration often have a sensitivity so deep it sometimes hurts. From childhood, you may have felt that you carried a pain that wasn't entirely your own, a strange sadness, a feeling that the world needed something, and that you had come to give it. People with this energy usually have a heart that is always open, and that, while a blessing, also makes you more vulnerable, because you feel deeply, and you can't look away when you see suffering. You have been the refuge for many, the counselor, the person others turn to when they don't know what to do, because your very presence conveys calm, understanding, and hope. But how many times have you felt invisible in your own process? Have you given so much to others that you forgot yourself? Number 9 has a natural connection to social, spiritual, humanitarian causes. You may feel called to help, to teach, to transform the lives of others, and that is beautiful. But it is also dangerous if you do it from sacrifice. Your greatest lesson is to understand that you are not here to carry the whole world on your shoulders. You are here to illuminate, to accompany, to inspire, and for that you need to learn to care for yourself with the same love you give to the world. It is likely that in your life you have faced intense farewells, deep relationships that marked your path, losses that transformed you, because you came to close cycles, not only yours, but also those of those around you. You are the bridge between what ends and what begins, and that requires immense emotional strength, a spiritual maturity that you may have had to develop early. But the most beautiful part of your energy is that, when you embrace it consciously, your sensitivity becomes light. Your story, with all its wounds, becomes guidance for others. Your words have the power to touch the soul. You are both mirror and lighthouse at the same time, but only when you allow yourself to honor your path with the same compassion you offer others. If you were born with the number 9, you came to serve, but not from sacrifice, from transformation, from example, from love that never runs out, because it is born from the soul and sustained by truth. Now that you have traveled this path and explored the deep meaning of the last digit of your birth year, something inside you may have shifted. Maybe you saw yourself reflected in a phrase, in an emotion, in a story that seemed to describe you without knowing you, and that is no coincidence, that is soul memory. Because these numbers are not just symbols, they are reflections of an energy that has always been with you, even when you didn't see it. Think about it. How many times in your life have you felt like you lived the same things over and over? Cycles that repeated, relationships following the same pattern, dreams you couldn't explain but couldn't let go of either. All of this is part of the path your soul chose to walk, and the number that accompanies you is like an energetic footprint that leaves clues, signals, keys, to help you understand yourself, heal, and move forward. This number is not a box that confines you. It is a key that opens your awareness. It is not here to limit you, but to remind you who you are, and more importantly, who you are meant to be. When you understand its vibration, you stop blaming yourself so much. You stop asking, "Why me?" with anger or resignation, and you begin to ask with curiosity, acceptance, and self-love. You begin to see that what seemed like a flaw was a lesson, that what hurt was part of your growth, and that everything, absolutely everything, had a purpose. Why weren't you late? You are not lost. You are not broken. You are exactly where you need to be, to awaken. And that awakening has already begun. Now you know that last number is not just another fact. It is a fragment of your spiritual map, a piece of the puzzle of your life, a silent voice that has always been whispering to you, "This is your journey, embrace it, embrace yourself." What if something within you shifted? If you now feel a deeper understanding of your story, your emotions, your perspective on life, then this message has served its purpose. But there's more you can do. Share this wisdom. Just as it touched you, it can touch someone else. Someone feeling lost. Someone who needs to remember their true self. Someone who's forgotten their inner light. Pass it on. Leave a comment telling me your number, what part moved you to tears, or which phrase sparked change within you. I want to hear your story. I want to know how far this message has reached. And if this content has made a difference for you, subscribe. This channel isn't just a channel, it's a space for awakened souls, seekers, and those ready to look within and live authentically. Remember, your story holds meaning, your soul has a purpose, and the energy you discovered today is a gift to the world. It doesn't matter if your number is 0 or 9. What matters is how you choose to live it, how you embody its wisdom, how you let its message transform you. Because when you honor that energy, life begins to respond differently. Doors open, answers appear, and what once hurt begins to heal. So take a deep breath, give thanks, and keep moving forward, aware of your number, aware of your light, and knowing that not for a single day have you ever been alone.